Hey guys, so welcome back to Tip Talks 22. I hope you guys are doing really well. So we are here today, guys. I want to wear green, but this shirt is much more comfortable. And I mean, it says love, like it fits, right? But green is the color associated with the heart chakra, which is why I wanted to wear it. But like I said, this is more comfortable than my polo. So that's what we're gonna do. I know it's been a while, right, since we came through this Heal With Me chakra series, right? But that's because one, I just had been working on other things, but two, I was also guided at the time to hold off, right? To kind of give you guys time to go through the 1, the 2, and the 3, third chakra. But then the other day, Spirit was like, nope, it's time to get back to it. And I did not want to do it. I think, though, part of my procrastination in that was because the heart chakra is so involved and connected to our whole self in such a major way. One, I just wanted to be sure that whatever it is that I was going to explain about it was, necessary, also helpful, and clear. You know what I'm saying? Um, but hey, if they say I'm ready and it's time, I'm like, okay, cool. We're going to get into it. And it's so funny because when they first mentioned it to me, I was just like, ugh, because I really wanted to work on this case that I was looking at. But I feel like pulling me back into this, the healing of the chakras, kind of gives me time to decompress from that, right? Because that stuff can be heavy rabbit hole information. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so I posted about this video earlier today. And I said, like, it is a game changer. The heart chakra is a game changer because it really is. It's just really connected to some of everything. Y'all know I took notes, right? I wrote some things down so that I would remember what all I wanted to say to you guys about it. But I feel like I wrote more than I need to say, right? Because I feel like I am a beginner, even if you guys don't think so. I just read and research, and especially on my healing journey, right? These are definitely things that I have worked through the chakras, and so I can definitely share with you from an experience point of view there. So let's go ahead and get started. This heart chakra, though, something that I was noticing which happens every time I get ready to look into a particular chakra, it's like things will be highlighted for me, like on social media, or that I see in other people, or even myself sometimes, where it's like, oh, theirs is out of balance, theirs is out of balance, right? Or, oh, that's an imbalance there, Anyway, so the heart chakra, of course, the heart is all about love, right? The Sanskrit term for the heart chakra, first, of course, if you guys have been following, the chakras are different energy centers situated throughout our bodies that are connected to certain psychological, emotional energies, right? They can also, when they are balanced or imbalanced, be kind of responsible for physical symptoms as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We'll also talk about, what it looks like when they are in balance and when they're out of balance, as well as the foods and some of the things that you can do to heal. Okay. So the first part, the anahata, is the Sanskrit word for the heart chakra. And the heart chakra pretty much starts like right above your navel up to this breastplate area, right? Your heart's left side. Yeah. For the women, under the boob right there, that's your heart. Where your physical heart is, right? It's your heart chakra's energy center as well. And why would you want to heal it or need to heal it? Because it controls your ability to experience happiness, your ability to experience greater unconditional love, your ability to be generous, experience generosity, your ability to forgive, your ability to show compassion for other people. Um, yeah, and it also your joy, right? Your ability to feel joy, express joy, all these things, and just really open you up to life's experiences. And so when that is out, when it's imbalanced, these are the things that are easier for you to experience, right? So it's like, even though challenges will come for you on a daily basis, not necessarily daily, if they do show up, right? When you do have a challenging period of time, when your heart chakra is in a place where that energy is flowing really good, you kind of are able to flow through those challenges with ease, right? In a more peaceful way. Does that make sense? Where it's like, okay, you have an understanding that the wheel turns, right? So this is another challenge. We're gonna get through it, and it's not like earth shattering. Um, but yeah, so when that chakra is out of balance, it just affects everything. It affects everything. It affects, like I said, your ability for all those things that I just named. Um, it makes it hard for you to trust other people. You may be hostile even. You may experience some extended periods of depression, maybe a panicky kind of person, lonely, self-isolating, kind of in an energy where you may feel unloved or unlovable. You probably are fearful of intimacy because, of course, intimacy requires you to be vulnerable, right? But if you have a wounded heart chakra, yeah, that's difficult for you oftentimes. You may also experience possessiveness, jealousy, and that makes sense too because Spirit gave me a couple messages. I think it was yesterday or the day before, and then I did the collective reading, and there's a strong energy of jealousy. So it's like, okay, maybe on a collective scale, our heart chakras are becoming even more out of balance. And I really feel like it's kind of something that happens off and on as you have your various life experiences. Also, when this chakra is not in balance, you may be codependent, you may be clingy, you may be smothering to other partners or people in your life, overly demanding, overly judgmental, and that's usually because you are as judgmental as you are of other people. You extend that to yourself. So when that chakra is in balance, you're more self-loving, self-accepting, and compassionate towards you, and that allows you to be that to other people. Someone who has an imbalanced heart chakra may also play the victim a lot, right? And they got kind of get comfortable being in that position of, woe is me, things are always happening to me. And yeah, so that's a perspective that you may get stuck in. You may also be a person that is egotistical, right? Superficial, and you just don't have a real sense of personal boundaries, as well as kind of being a people pleaser. Okay, so those are some of the things. Something that I did run across as well, where somebody kind of put it in a way where it's like there are 3 dominant emotions connected to the heart chakra. It's like fear, love, or hatred. But when your heart chakra is expanded and in balance, that one of those feelings, one of those emotions is going to dominate, and then the other 2 have to fall back. And so when you are in a space of love, where you are loving, self-loving, and loving of other people, then it's going to be harder for you to exhibit hate when you're in that energy of love. It's going to be harder for you to exhibit fear because you're in that energy of love. I just thought that was a really neat way to look at that. So when one is predominant, the other 2 kind of fall back. But yeah, so then we've kind of mentioned, okay, that's how the imbalance shows up, but what creates the imbalance, right? And I'm sure you guys can kind of, what do I want to say, conclude or assume that you know, and you probably do. But grief, loss, heartbreak in love, right? Failed relationships or romantic partnerships, and not even romance, not just romantic, but family connections, disappointing relationships, all of these things tend to affect your heart chakra. That's why it is so important. Like grief, I feel like is a common part of life, and it's a necessary stage or thing to experience, especially when we go through these. But that's why it's also super necessary that we work to heal as we move through the grief, okay? And not allow it to harden our hearts in a way that we refuse to open up to other people in the future, or we carry grudges, or we carry resentment because of the experience that we had. And trust me when I say, I know that is so much easier said than done, but definitely be willing to give yourself time to heal that, okay? Why the heart chakra, something else about the heart chakra that I feel is so important. It's like, and why I wanted you guys to kind of take some time. I just saw 1122 on the clock, to take some time to look at the first, second, and third chakras, is because the balance or imbalance of those three have a direct effect on your heart chakra. And vice versa, your heart chakra would have a direct effect on those three. Okay. So yeah, if that energy in your heart chakra is blocked or clogged in a way, I say clogged because maybe it's not a complete blockage, right? You just kind of move in and out of these feelings of hatred or jealousy or anger, or these things. You are probably a person who mainly lives a superficial life or lives from your ego. And we've talked about that previously. Your ego is designed 1212 on the clock, designed to yeah, that's a habit I have. Just, mention angel numbers because it might be significant to you. Maybe you wondering if this video is for you. If that number is significant for you in your day-to-day life, then yes, it is. So I have to call them out like that. And also, I talked to my guys before this video started to just really help me with the words. And so some of these are definitely going to be my encouragement, and I'm grateful for that. But yeah, so if you have a blocked or clogged energy flow in that area, the heart chakra area, you may be a person who's superficial, or you live from the ego, right? Like I said previously, we talked about the ego and how it kind of is designed to protect us from pain or from hurt. So as we experience different traumas or tragic experiences, it's like, okay, you may develop these walls or boundaries where it's like, I'm never going to put myself in that position again. And so you kind of develop that subconscious train of thought, and your ego is going to work to continue that for you, right? So it's like, yeah, you kind of tend to operate from your ego and from a wounded space where it's like, I'm gonna hurt them before they hurt me, or you'll sabotage relationships that feel like unconditional love because of the wounds that you carried previously that you never healed from. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. But yeah, good flow is going to allow you to heal from those traumas from your past, and also just really to be able to connect to your spiritual self a lot more, right? I was thinking about that, how it connects you to your more spiritual self. And it's like, and I was thinking about a lot of people who are religious, or they seem to be religious, but they also seem to be miserable, judgmental grouches, right? Yeah, I'm really trying to understand it, because I'm like, how can the two coexist? But I think it's really from a space where they possibly have been hurt so much in the past, and they didn't heal, but they may have convinced themselves that, oh no, I'm fine, and they went on living their lives, and these religious energies are indoctrinated, so they repeat and recite, and they know how to, you know, spit out what they've been taught, but they're not truly living it because of that blockage, the pain that they haven't really healed from. And I feel like a lot of religions don't focus on the healing. I know some people not gonna like that, but that's okay. I'm just here to speak the truth. But yeah, so that's an interesting perspective as well. So let me tell you this about the physical aspects of it. The physical aspects, when your heart chakra is imbalanced, of course, like your heart controls everything. I read in one of my books, that there's like a electromagnetic field that the heart chakra, the heart radiates, right? The actual organ. I think they're calling it a gland now. And that radiates up to and can be detected up to 3 feet away from you. And then I thought about that 3 feet of personal space, right? Up to 3 feet away from you, which essentially makes up part of your aura, right? Which may affect how your aura or your energy feels to other people who are able to read that type of thing. It's awe inspiring to me. It's just amazing to me. Anyway, so when see how I'm stumbling and fumbling? That's all right. I'm gonna get through it. I don't want to leave anything out and not say something that was important. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, if you guys suffer from hypertension, you suffer from respiratory problems, or have a tight chest, or cardiovascular issues, lung issues, circulation issues, hand issues, which would likely also be connected to circulation, maybe pains in your shoulders, your upper back, or even your breast, those are likely all connected to or can be traced back to a heart chakra imbalance, as well as the thymus. So let's talk a little bit about the thymus before we move on. The thymus is a gland that is responsible for the production of your T cells, right? And the T cells are how your body fights off illness, right? So it kind of protects you from autoimmune diseases. So oftentimes you can convince me that these things don't correlate. So if someone is dealing with a thymus gland issue, it is more than likely that there is some type of pain or grief connected to their heart chakra that needs to be balanced, right? In order for that to heal itself. The thymus is that. It's a gland of self-healing on a physical level. So think of your heart chakra in that same way. It is the inner healing, the self-healing on a psychological and emotional and spiritual level, right? So that's really why it's important, why I said it's a game changer, because it just really connects to everything. I did see something else. I don't know if I wrote it down or not. Oh, about it being in constant communication with the brain and neurological function, but even more powerful than it, right? Than the brain. Okay, isn't that interesting? So yeah, whatever you experience, whereas the first, second, and third chakra develop or are dominant at certain times in your life, those are the lower self, the lower chakras, right? But they develop at those certain times. The heart chakra develops, and I feel like mainly in levels of maturity, ages and stages of maturity, but the development is kind of like lifelong, because it's built, either expanded or shrunk, I want to say, by your lifelong experiences, the things that you learn over a period of living your life. You know what I mean? So that's how that chakra develops. It's not specific to like childhood or birth and prepubescent and adolescence and those things, right? Because you could have experiences at different times and different stages there that affect your heart chakra, right? Your first crush that you were rejected by. It's going to affect your heart chakra and how you develop it, or open it up, or open your heart, or shut it down as you mature and get older, right? If you don't heal from it. And a lot of times we don't heal from it until we get older and we realize how these things affected us. So let me also tell you, y'all, I know everybody not going to like this video because healing is not an easy thing to do. And that's okay. I feel like there are some people who are interested in healing and they want to be their best self. So you guys may be able to benefit from this video in some way. All right. So we've talked about some of the physical problems that would show up from it, the imbalance and how it is caused, like I said, by grief, by loss. So, yeah, loss or rejection, just feeling unloved, right? So when you have these things, these relationships that create this disappointment and you hold on to it, or you develop a resentment, right? It's like easy to build up this blockage, or these boundaries, or this protective barrier built on ego and your wound. And you really, I feel like it's subconsciously project that to other people, where you may be hostile, you may be judgmental, but that's like, it's an energy of misery loving company. And I feel like it's so gradual, it can be, that people don't even realize it until they are old, miserable, alone, right? But by that time, it's often like you've been stuck in that energy for so long, you don't see what the problem is. And yeah, unless people point it out to you, right? But by then, most of the time, I feel like people don't want to hear it, you know? And that's a sad situation. The fact that we live in a society now where people are less concerned about other people. People don't want to extend compassion to other people. You're in this space, or a lot of society operates in this space where as long as they're all right, 2, 2, 3, 3 on the clock, as long as they're all right, their world is all good, right? When your heart chakra is in balance, you are going to be concerned about the other person. You're going to be compassionate for other people. You're going to be empathetic towards other people, right? You would be able to put yourself in another person's shoes. And I feel like if that was something that was more prevalent, we would have less murders. We would have less crime, because it'd be like, I don't want to inflict this pain on a pain on someone else that I wouldn't want people to inflict on me, right? We would be able to put ourselves in other people's shoes. We would be able to understand how we are all connected. Whew. Well, I feel like getting emotional right now. I just saw 2, 3, 2, 3 on the clock. We would understand how we are all connected, right? So if you hurt, then I hurt with you. If you are struggling and you don't have basic necessities, then I see that as a disservice for all, right? Because we are all one. And so when your heart chakra is open, you are able to take that perspective where you're less selfish, you're less egotistical, you're less separate. Okay, the heart chakra, I'm telling y'all, I told y'all it was like connected to everything. Yeah, and so that energy of self-acceptance, that energy of self-love, that energy of love for others, and really you keep saying, I keep seeing unconditional love, right? It's such a tough thing, because most of the love in our lives that we experience is conditional. You know what I'm saying? 434 on the clock. It is conditional. Unfortunately so. And so I feel like the people who are able to express and experience and extend unconditional love in our society now are a very rare breed. I was thinking back, and this was when I first started really studying chakras. I was thinking back about some of the connections that I had, even though I feel like they were trauma bonds. Um, but just thinking about some of the connections that I've had in my past, and I was just like, I tried to extend this unconditional love towards this person, but of course, he wouldn't have been able to receive it because he didn't love himself, right? So of course he's not understanding, why am I so forgiving, right? But part of that was my lack of self-love as well. Part of that. Okay, let's just be honest. However, that really is also who I am at my core anyway. Um, so I'm able to look back on past experiences and not hold grudges towards this person, because I understand that we all carry something and have carried some things at different points in our lives, right? So when your heart chakra is open, that's something else that you'll be able to do. You'll be able to look back at your past and your past experiences, um, without that bitter energy, without resentment, without anger, and just really be able to see your life from a more peaceful space. That's when you know you've healed, or you've started to heal anyway. Um, and so, some of the ways that we can address our healing, you guys know, color therapy. I'm big on that, honey. I really do believe that certain colors affect the way that we feel, affect our moods, affect our healing as well. So foods, green, like I said, is associated with this particular chakra. Um, so the certain foods that you can consume to help bring this chakra into balance, like cabbage, celery, spinach, kale, green teas, foods that are rich in vitamin C, broccoli even. You can also do certain yoga poses that require your backs to bend in a certain way, or for you to open your chest up, right? Of course, meditation, heart chakra meditation, that is definitely one of my favorites. Um, yeah, I feel like I was going to tell y'all about how I kind of scan my own chakras sometimes, and I can tell either that chakra is blocked because of a emotional response I get to it during the meditation, or it's really open. Likewise, because of the emotional response that I get to it, you know, that saying, happy tears, right? Just from a space of gratitude. So yeah, when that chakra's in balance, you're going to be able to express gratitude, express happiness, express appreciation from sincerely and naturally, right? Um, but that's also one of the ways for you to bring it into balance, is to practice that, right? Like everything, I feel everything is a practice, okay? Because it's like none of this stuff. I almost cuss. None of this stuff happens overnight, right? It's like you develop a knowledge and an understanding, and then you have to have time and opportunity to practice and apply it, right? So, yeah. So when you are working to heal this particular chakra and open any blockages, you need to, of course, focus on your healing, the things, or healing from the things that have wounded you or hurt you or made you sad or in the past, right? And how do you do that? You look at those things, you examine those things, you feel what you feel about them, and I would say choose to release them, right? And accept them as something that happened, that had to happen the way that they happened. Otherwise, it wouldn't have led you to this space or to this space or to this space, right? So it's just a matter of perspective, and that definitely takes time. You can definitely journal your emotions around these certain things, but also just focus on the healing and focus on activities that create that loving energy in you. For some, and I feel like this is for a lot of people, it really, really, really feels good to give. It really feels good to help other people. So when you volunteer I was gonna say, if that's your thing, even if it's not your thing, try it and see how good you feel, right? Volunteering, just giving back, or just choosing to help people in some way is going to expand your heart chakra. Focusing on the things that you love unconditionally. For some of you, it's going to be God, or your deity, your higher power. It's going to be your children. It could be certain friends. It could even be a pet, right? So when you feel, or you're wanting to focus on the blockage, that heart chakra blockage, and you're wanting to open it, just I want to say meditate on these things, these people, these whatever it is that you do where you experience this unconditional love. If there's a natural space outside that you know you've walked into and your energy was just loving, it could have been just straight awe, it could have been just pure joy. Wherever you were, where you experienced those feelings, perfect place to start, right? Let that be what you think about when you feel yourself being overly critical of you, or overly critical of someone else, or lashing out at everybody, or you know what I mean? Just try to focus on the things, or the people, or the connections, or the situations that evoke feelings of love from you, right? In the middle of whatever you're doing, this is effective, guys. You could also be a person who, like I said, meditates, but who does devotionals or has devotion, where you are expressing this gratitude, this appreciation to the divine, or whoever your deity is, right? If that's singing songs of praise, or just praying, right? Whatever it is that you do that's not ritualistic, right? Where you're just going through the motions. Whatever, if this is something that makes your heart happy, focus on that. And that's going to, it could be even creating art, like art being your happy space. Then draw more, right? Draw more, focus on that. Appreciating yourself, expressing appreciation of yourself, right? If you think you are a funny person, if you love how giving and charitable you are, right? Practice those self-love affirmations, those loving affirmations towards you, because the more you project these things towards yourself, you'll be able to project them to other people, and to see those same traits and attributes in other people, right? And ultimately it creates a healing. And it's so funny. It's not funny because I mean, it's just, what that is. But like the more, and it seems so cliche. That's why I think I said funny. But the more that you are able to extend love to yourself, it's like an automatic for you to be that kind to other people. So when you see people, I was gonna say on the street, it ain't got to be on the street. It could just be in public, in your day-to-day life, right? When you see people who are just extra crabby, or always in a mood, or always complaining, or self-centered, like, or not understanding of other people's grief, it's easy to look at them in a compassionate way, not like you feel sorry for them. I mean, you could, but like in a way where you understand whatever it is they feeling and going through ain't really about you. 3, 3, 4, 4 o'clock. Does that make sense? Whatever it is they dealing with that has them reacting the way that they're reacting, it's not about you. It's about them and some hurt and pain that they're carrying in their hearts, right? You're quicker and more able to see that. And yeah, it's definitely going to be allow for you to be more kind to others in that way. And the reason why on that post, because yeah, y'all, I'm about to end this. I told y'all I wrote like six pages of stuff, and I was like, I know I'm not going to say all this stuff, but the reason why on that post I was saying it's a game changer and it affects everything is because it really does. Because who we are, our soul essence is love, and this is the love center. And if we are on a spiritual level, come back to this space and this place of being heart centered, where we do things where our motivation for doing things is that, and it's not to get ahead of somebody, or it's not to take something from somebody, or it's not to make somebody feel some type of way, like a negative way, right? And it's just to be love, to exhibit love, to spread love, to give love, and to have that given in return. It would change the world. I think it would change the world. And I think God would be so pleased too. But that's just me and how I think. Yeah, so guys, I feel like also this is why it is so important to, like I said, there are going to be challenges in life. There's going to be sadness. There's going to be hurt. There's going to be periods of perhaps rejection in your life, grief, loss of loved ones, etc. And it is more than okay for you to grieve as long as you need to grieve. But don't let it linger so long over things that you cannot change that you allow it to affect who you become. Okay? And whoo child, I will cry. And that's definitely from a personal space. You know, having lost my sister and having nursed my son through so much. I was thinking today about when I was waiting for him to come out of heart surgery, how it was just the longest hours of my life, where when they wheeled him out and everything it went well, like I had been sitting just chilling, you know, the whole time with my mom and everybody in the waiting room. But like when they rolled him by to let us know he was okay and everything, I mean, tears just fell, just relief. And he was only 3 months old, but I mean, just the love that I felt for him and being so relieved that everything went well. I just thought that was a perfect example of heart chakra energy and how blockages can be can be created, but also that heart chakra can be healed. You know what I mean? Through tears, through the release of tears as well. So sometimes that's part of your healing, honey, just to sit and have a good ass cry about it, right? That was one I think I didn't have a real control over. But even with my sister, with her passing and the grief, it's like I cried for months and months and months and months and months until finally, well, I had a dream about her too. And I felt like, well, actually in my dream, she's like, why are you tripping? I'm fine. You know what I mean? She said that. And I woke up that day like, so at some point, you got to stop crying about stuff that you can't change, right? And accept it. It sucks. But accept that you can't change it. And I even then, and I wasn't anywhere near like I am today, this type of person. Y'all know what I'm saying. But even then, I had to pep talk myself out of that grief, you know, because I knew and had an understanding of how grief can affect your life in such a way that you essentially become the walking dead. You know what I'm saying? Because you stop living because they stopped living. And yeah, that is not what is meant to become of you, and it wasn't what was meant to become of me. So yeah, so I felt my grief and I experienced my grief, and I still had those challenging days, even now, and it's been years and years and years. Way less now. Now it usually comes from memories that'll pop up, right? So that's when I know, okay, for this to be showing up, especially as someone who talks to her energy all the time, or I have the ability to. I don't talk to her as much anymore, but that's when I know, yeah, okay, you need to be meditating because you are reacting to some things that you've already kind of moved past, right? So anyway, just check in with your chakras, guys. Take note of the grief that you carry. Assess your pains, your heartaches, your heartbreaks, right? And acknowledge and accept what it is you can or cannot change. and release it. Make the choice to release it and to focus on the things that bring you joy. Choose joy, right? I just posted that a couple days ago. That bring you happiness, that you can extend unconditional love to, like your pets, your children, right? All of those things. So I hope this was helpful to someone. Let me know in the comments, if you choose to, how you connect to this information, or how you can work to heal your heart chakra, or how your heart chakra has been wounded in the past, etc. How you overcame it. Just share your story. Feel free to talk. I love that, because Tiff talks. Speaking of, the next chakra is the fifth chakra, which is the throat chakra. I feel like that one's gonna be easy because Tiff talks. I mean, Hope this is helpful, guys. Bye bye.